Hey guys, Shy here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I kind of wanted to talk about my eating disorder story and just kind of like my mental health journey in total. Whenever I asked what kind of YouTube videos you guys wanted to see, it was kind of the big one that everybody wanted to hear. So this is kind of your warning right now. I am going to include some pictures and stuff just as like the timeline a little bit. Keep watching if you want to watch. Let's get to it. I want to start back when I was like 13 years old. So I'm 21 now, so that was like a long time ago. But when I was 13, I was a competitive swimmer. I was training about 24 hours a week. We would train 2 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night for the weekdays, and then Saturday mornings. And we did have a nutritionist for our swim team that we worked really closely with. So when we first started working with her, she had everyone download MyFitnessPal, track their food for a week, I think it was, and give her a weight. That was kind of the first time I'd been introduced to like tracking calories and like weighing myself at all, any of that. And I did it, and it didn't really affect me at all. I was like, whatever, like I'm X amount of pounds, cool, I'm 13, I don't really care. But then she had us kind of keep tracking our food and tracking our food and tracking our food. And I kind of got a little bit hooked on that. But I also found it to be a lot of work and I couldn't really be bothered at that point, so I kind of let it go. As the time went on, I kind of got like a little bit more invested in it. So at 14, it was kind of like my peak year for swimming, so that's the year I did the best. Placing pretty well at nationals, and my racing was good, my training was good, and it was a good year. So 15, things started to go downhill with my swimming. I had body image issues. I was doing these like 30-day ab challenges and trying to like get the body of my dreams, whatever that would mean, right? So I started tracking my food more, and this would be like the start of my orthorexic phase. So for anyone who doesn't know, orthorexia is like an obsession with healthy eating and healthy habits. So it's a little bit different than anorexia, but still an eating disorder. But I wouldn't eat anything unhealthy. I was counting my calories, and my swimming performance really took a hit. I wasn't doing nearly as well, but I didn't know why. I was like, I'm trying to form these healthy habits. I wasn't losing weight. I was just trying to be healthy. I was working my butt off, but I wasn't seeing progress, one, in my weight, and two, in my swimming. I was just really stuck where I was at. And I just want to preface this with saying, like, I don't blame that nutritionist at all. But I think it's important that people are really careful with who they're getting to download and track their food. I don't think a 13-year-old should ever be tracking their intake and weighing themselves. I just don't think it's necessary. And it introduced me to a tool that kind of brought me down. So definitely not her fault that I formed an eating disorder. I don't blame her at all. She has nothing to do with that. But we need to be more careful with what we're introducing kids to, for sure. So anyways, 15, I was going downhill, but still kind of maintaining my weight, fighting myself every day. 16 and 17 were pretty similar. If I would have something unhealthy, I'd often lose control. So it'd be like, oh, I'm going to have like 6 pieces of cake because, oh, I screwed up already, so the day's out the window, which is a really unhealthy mindset in itself. That kind of continued all through high school. I maintained my weight pretty much. And then grad came. I went to grad, I went to nationals that summer, and then I quit swimming. It was just before I turned 18, I quit swimming. I'd swam since I was 10, so that was a big change in itself. And I would look back at my grad pictures, and I honestly, like, even to this day, I can't look back on my grad pictures because I'm really hard on myself and what I looked like, and it brings me down a lot. And that was part of the trigger to my eating disorder for sure. So first of all, it was looking back on my grad pictures, it was quitting swimming, and it was starting university, because that September I started my first year of university. All of August, I'd go to the gym here and there, but I never trained on my own. I'd always trained with a group with swimming. So it was weird. I would go with 2 of my friends, and we would go after work. We'd just go to the gym, and then I'd have my protein bar, and everything was good. And then September hit, and school hit, and I was like swamped. It was so busy. I never really made the routine of going to the gym on my own after quitting swimming, so it wasn't really a priority for me at that point. I'd go here and there, but I'd only go if my friend was going. And our schedules didn't always line up. I didn't end up going very much. Reading week came, and this was November 2016, I told myself I'm going to go to the gym every single day. And I did. I went to the gym every single day. So that's 9 days in a row. That was the beginning of my very bad habit forming. I started weighing myself every single day. And I started consistently tracking my food. And at first it was, I don't want to say it was disordered at this point. Like I was trying to form healthy habits. I was trying to get myself onto like a bit of a routine with going to the gym, eating healthy. And I had a goal weight in mind. And it's very healthy. It's honestly the number that I left the hospital at. That was my original goal. When I was forming these healthy habits. I got to the point where I would get sick because my immune system was shot because I was running myself down, and I still wouldn't take breaks. I would still go to the gym and I would run and I would restrict my calories. I hesitate saying restrict my calories because at this point I was still eating a pretty healthy amount. But over time, my calories would go down, my exercise would go up. My calories would go down, my exercise would go up. I was weighing myself every single day. Christmas break was okay. In January, I went skiing with a friend and I packed all my own food. I wouldn't eat out. I wouldn't eat anything from restaurants. I only ate the food I had pre-packed. People were like, oh, that's fine. You're just like trying to form healthy habits. But if I can't enjoy food on a trip, then I'm not in a good mindset. So that's kind of January of 2017 is when I really started to go downhill. I kept exercising more, eating less. I got addicted to the weight loss. I hit my original goal and then it went down 5 pounds. Then I'd hit that and it'd go down 5 pounds. And I'd hit that and go down 5 pounds. And I didn't see it happening. I remember having conversations with people at work. People would be like, oh my gosh, you look so good. Like, what are you doing? You look great. You eat so healthy. I'd be like, really? Like, I don't see it. Like, I know I've lost weight because I step on the scale and I see it, but I honestly did not see a difference in myself at all. They were like, why aren't you taking progress pictures? Like, you should take progress pictures. And I was like, oh, like, that might be a good idea. Cool. I started taking progress pictures, and this right here was my very first one I took. Started taking them at the gym, like, every few days, once a week-ish, just to kind of see kind of my progress and where I was at. Nobody really made comments to me that were negative. Everybody was just like, how are you doing this? Like, you look great. And I thrived on it. I was never the person that people would tell they look good, they look strong, I was never that person. So it was probably April, the first time I had somebody comment to me that they were concerned. And it was one of my closest friends. We were walking home from school and we were almost there, and I could tell she wanted to say something, but she was like holding back and she was like nervous about it. And like, I get why now, but she looked at me and she was like, Cheyenne, like, are you doing okay? I've noticed some things with your eating and your working out and I'm just really worried. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Like, if there was a problem, I would say something. Such a lie. Anyways, so we like split off and she went to her house and I cried the whole way home. My God, like, I'm so unhappy. I'm exhausted. Like, everything is so hard right now, but I didn't want anybody to stop me because I still didn't see a difference in my body, and I just wanted to get to a point where I was comfortable in my skin. So I texted her when I got home and I was like, hey, thanks for caring. Like, I promise you I'd tell you if there was a problem. Ugh. Anyways, so over the next few months, I was exhausted. My hairdresser was making comments to me about my hair falling out. I was losing weight, but that was the part I wasn't concerned about. There was all these other symptoms, all these other side effects that were happening. My heart rate was getting really low, like whatever it was. My skin was turning yellow. And I'd go to my doctor and I'd be like, what's happening? Like, I don't understand. And he's like, oh, let's test your thyroid. Like, are you eating enough protein? And we do all these things. He's like, have you lost weight? And I'm like, oh yeah, a little bit, but I'm eating healthier and I'm working out. So like, and he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. So we just kind of let it slide. We kept doing these tests. Nothing was coming up. So it was probably middle to end of May when one of my friends from work, she was actually my supervisor, she messaged me over Instagram. And I was at work and I got this message and I started reading it and I started crying. So I like ran into the change room and I read it, and she was basically like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, I've noticed your skin's getting really yellow and you've lost a lot of weight, and I just want to know if you're okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And she, honestly, I owe everything to her at this point because she didn't let up. She knew there was an issue. She knew that I wasn't doing okay, and she just kind of kept pushing. And she was like, I'll bring you to the doctor, like, whatever you need. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. And she really pushed me to work on getting better. And I owe her a lot for that, and I'm really grateful for her. So if you're watching this, I love you. It took us a couple of weeks to figure out when our schedules worked together that she could come over and help me tell my mom. And I was so happy that it wasn't happening because I was so scared to tell my family and be like, haha, she thinks I'm sick. The other important part of this is she was telling me, she's like, I think you're sick, like, you're not doing well. And I'm like, sick with what? Like, I'm just being healthy. I'm eating healthy. I'm working out. Like, what am I sick with? I genuinely did not understand. A few weeks later, she came over and I was literally sitting at home and my like stomach was in knots. I was so scared. And she came and I ran outside to see her. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. She was like, no, we're doing this. And I started crying. I was like, no, please, no. And I like threw a fit. And she was like hugging me and like, no, we have to do this. And then my mom came outside and saw me crying in her arms. And she was like, what's going on? Like, I'm so scared. And I was like, don't tell her, don't tell her. And then she's like, I need to tell her. And she told her. And then my mom, after she found out, my mom looks at me and she's like, I'm sorry, like everything's so hard. Do you want an ice cream sandwich? Would that make it better? And I was like, no, I don't want an ice cream sandwich. I'm like, that's the last thing I want right now. But whatever, she tried, she didn't know. So I went to this therapist and she wrote letters to go to my doctor and to refer me to the eating disorder clinic in my city. So this was in June. My referral date for the eating disorders clinic was like November 7th. So 5 months to go. And I was like, yeah, cool. I got time. I got time to actually be sick. These people think I'm sick, but I'm not actually sick. Like, what am I sick with? I still had like no idea what, like nobody had ever said the words eating disorder to me. And I was like, what do you think I'm sick with? Like, I was so confused. So that night I was sitting on my friend's couch and we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and I get an email from my psychologist and it was like a diagnosis letter, and I read it and I started crying because it said anxiety, it said depression, it said anorexia. And I was like, no, like this isn't. I was bawling my eyes out. My friend was like, no, we're deleting the email. And I was like, I can't, I have to give it to my doctor. And she was like, Kate, well then stop reading and I'm taking your phone. So I ended up going to my doctor. He did a physical. It still didn't weigh me. I hadn't been weighed like at all at his office. So my psychologist started weighing me. I was going like up and down with food. Like I'd lose a little bit of weight and then I'd gain a little bit of weight, and I'd lose a little bit and I'd gain a little bit. And I was kind of maintaining around the same point at this point. And I stopped taking any pictures of myself. I stopped taking check-in pictures because I was genuinely so confused with my body. Like, I couldn't see the weight I'd lost. I didn't feel like I was skinny. I didn't feel like I was small. But people were telling me I was way too skinny, that I looked sick. But people would make fun of me and call me a carrot because my skin was yellow. And I was just really self-conscious of everything. Like, my hair was falling out. I was uncomfortable in my skin. So I stopped taking pictures. I just didn't want to see myself. I didn't want any documentation of what I looked like. August came and I ended up going to BC on a road trip for a family reunion. And I wasn't able to work out and I was freaking out. But there's just going to be all this food that I couldn't track, and anxiety levels like skyrocketed. I almost told my mom I had food poisoning to skip it, but I didn't. So I went and I gained like 8 pounds over the week because I wasn't working out. I was hydrating my body, I was fueling my body, and it was like, holy crap, give me the nutrients. So when I got home, I weighed myself and I was like, oh my god, what did I do? This is the picture of the day I got home. And I was pumped because I actually had a little bit of a bicep muscle. And I was like, oh my god, I'm strong. False. So yeah, September I started school, so I was at a different school this semester in kinesiology, still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I didn't have a scale at my house anymore. My mom had gotten rid of it. So I would wake up in the morning, I would go to class, I would work out, and I would weigh myself afterwards. I still wasn't taking any pictures of myself because I was like, again, I was so uncomfortable in my skin. I was so self-conscious. I just didn't want to see it. So I kind of continued on that for a little while, and then November came and I had to go to the eating disorder clinic at my local hospital. And I was so nervous. I went and I sat there for 40 minutes waiting to see my doctor, and I was shaking, and there's these other girls there and they're all really nice and they talked to me, and then my doctor called me in and she was like, hey, nice to meet you. We had a little bit of a talk, and she was like, I need you to do this blood work and the ECG. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went and I did it, and I got a call the next day saying like, we need you to come in, it's urgent. And I was like, oh, like I can't today, I can't tomorrow, like maybe like next Friday. And they were like, no, why can't you? And I was like, oh, like I have school until this time. They're like, okay, be here at this time. And I was like, shoot, okay. So I go in, it was Friday, November 10th, 2017, that I went in to see my doctor. I didn't tell anybody that I was called in. I just kind of went in on my own. And she sat me down and she was like, you need to come in for treatment. I was like, funny, no, I don't. And she was like, yeah, you do. Like, your organs are failing, your heart's slow, like whatever, your electrolytes are off, you're dehydrated, blah, 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 blah. Like, you need to come in. And I was like, oh, like, I'm in school. Like, school's a priority. I can't do that. And she was like, come in. We'll put you in the OPR, which is the outpatient residence. It's basically like, I live in the hospital, but I don't live on the unit. So I go up to the unit in the morning, I do all my meals, I spend the day there, and then after my post at night, I get to go back down and sleep in, it's kind of like a dorm room, but it's still in the hospital. She was like, take the night to think about it, email me your choice. So I left and I called my friend and I was crying on the phone, and she gave me some tough love. She was like, do you want your family to bury you? Do you want to die? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I ended up going in. So I emailed her and I was like, hey, like, I'll come in. When do you want me to come? And she was like, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. in my office. And I was like, I work tomorrow. And she was like, you don't anymore. Like, I'll send you a letter to send your managers. And I was like, my God, this is real. Like, what's happening? The only picture I really took between that one in August and being admitted to the hospital is this one right here. This was taken the night before I was admitted. I don't know why I saved it. It has a snap filter on it. It's not cute at all, but that is the only picture I have from the day day before I was admitted. So I couldn't sleep that night. I was stressed. I was crying all night. I went and had a shower. I grabbed a suitcase. I packed my suitcase and put it in my car. And I ate a lot because I was like, they're going to make me gain weight anyways. They're going to weigh me tomorrow. So I'm just going to eat everything that I've not been allowed to eat over like the past however long and just enjoy it. I felt sick, but anyways. So I didn't tell anybody I was going. I got up at 5 a.m. and I drove to the hospital. I didn't tell my family I was going. I didn't tell any friends I was going. I just picked up and went. I walked up to my doctor's office and she walked me onto the unit, and it was very uncomfortable. I remember walking on it, and the way I remember it that day is nothing like what it actually looks like. Was admitted there November 11th of 2017, and it was reading week, so I was actually stuck there for a full week, and I cried every single day. For actually the first 3 weeks, I just sat in the corner crying. And that's actually how I met my first friend on the unit, Clara. I was crying doing my homework because all I did is study. I just sat in the corner bawling my eyes out studying, like the entire day, every single day. And then I'd go back to my room, I would drink tea, and I would cry myself to sleep, and I'd wake up in the morning and do it again. That's how I spent my first 3 weeks. So Clara, one day, she brought me tea, and she ended up she's still one of my closest friends. So as far as the hospital goes, I was there full time from November 11th until I think the end of February. I do my meals there. When it was a school day, I would actually go up early, eat my breakfast, grab my bagged lunch, go to school. I'd eat my bagged lunch at school, and then I would go back to the hospital, eat dinner, eat snack, and then go to bed. So that's kind of how I maintained school. Ask me how I maintained my grades. I don't know. I did better then than I'm doing now. I had straight A's. I literally don't know, but whatever. I was weight restored January 24th of 2018. Hey, Ellie. Elle, come here. Yeah, I got my NG tube in December, and I had that in until I was weight restored in January of 2018. And then I stayed like full-time hospitalization for about another month. After being weight restored, just maintaining my weight. The whole time I was in hospital, I wasn't allowed to work out at all. They increased my calories by about 300 every day. The highest I got to was 3,900 calories a day while I was not working out, just to gain weight. And that's why I had the NG tube, because I couldn't eat that much. I had my tube for a month and a half. And then I got it out that night, and I maintained my weight for 3 weeks before I was allowed to work out again. I started working out 2 days a week. I was allowed to lift weights for 45 minutes, and it was controlled by my rec therapist. She made my program. I had to do weekly check-ins with her. Everything was very, very controlled. Slowly, I started introducing yoga, and that's kind of when I got into yoga. I didn't do yoga before that, minus the hospital yoga. So twice a week we were allowed to go do a yoga with Adriene video down in the hospital gymnasium. In beginning of March, I got to go home, and I started doing breakfast and snack at home, and I'd eat lunch and dinner at the hospital. So I drive in every day and then I drive home. And then in April, I was fully discharged from the hospital. So I was there just about 6 months. Once I was discharged, it was kind of hard to get back into normal life. Like, if you think about it, I had all my meals prepared for me. Everything was completely calorie counted for me. I had no responsibility for myself. I was weighed every day. I woke up, somebody gave me my meds, somebody gave me my meal, I ate it, that was it. And I would like to say I was very compliant in treatment. I ate my meal every day. Yes, there were some days that I was crying the entire time I was eating it, but I ate my entire meal every day. I ate my entire bagged meal at school, minus one day, but I went back and I told them that I was not eating this bagel, and then they gave me a bottle of Ensure, and I made it up. So I completed my calories every day. I listened to the nurses, I took my meds, I did the therapy, and still when I got out, it was a shock. Like, learning how to live on my own again was so hard. I had to figure out like what I was gonna eat, make sure there was enough food to meet my 3,000 calorie a day meal plan in the house, and figure out what I wanted to eat without eating the same things every single day. But eventually I got into it again. I started kind of distancing myself from the hospital set workout plan and kind of getting back into like my swimming, running, weights, yoga kind of thing. I still one a day, 45 minutes, but I got to choose a little bit more, and I just slowly distanced myself from that program. I've been out for a year and a half now. I've maintained my weight. There's been ups and downs for sure, but overall, I'd say I'm doing okay. I have my dietitian still. I haven't seen her in a couple of months, but I can still see her anytime. I still go to therapy once every 3 weeks. I have a new psychologist now who I really like. If you're listening to this, secret's out. Yes, I do like you. But, yeah, everything's pretty chill. So that's kind of my story. I am on meds for the anxiety and the depression still, and I'm pretty sure I'll be on those forever, and that's okay. But, yeah. If you guys have any questions, drop them below. I'd be happy to answer them. I hope that this gives people a little bit of an idea of what treatment's like, of what, at least what my story was, and kind of how everything progressed. Thanks for watching, and if you have any video ideas you want me to do, again, drop them below, or you can DM me. My Instagram is at shylindsay_. And yeah, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe. It'll support my channel. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye!